and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to share with you 2 Christmas candy cupcakes. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that I'm going to be taking favorite Christmas candies. I'm going to be taking the turtle, which if you guys don't know is like caramel and pecans and chocolate. And then I'm also going to be taking the Buckeye, which is like a peanut butter chocolate candy. And I'm going to be turning them into cupcakes. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Before I get into this video, I wanted to let you know that there are 2 recipes coming from previous videos in this particular video. So my creamy vanilla frosting was in my last video, and I'll link that video down below. And then also you'll see that I'll be using a ganache in this video, and I don't give you the instructions for it, but it was in a previous video, so I will also link that video down below. So be looking for that to help you piece these recipes together. And now I'm going to toast my pecans. You guys, you don't really want to use the raw pecans because they're not going to have nearly as good a flavor. So I'm just putting these over medium heat, and it'll just take 4 or 5 minutes. Just give it a shake every once in a while. You'll smell them. Toasting, you don't want them to burn. Obviously, if they're burning, it's been too long. So just kind of stirring them, and when you smell them, they are toasted. So we're taking these toasted pecans, and we're just giving them a quick chop. And they don't need to be perfect. We just don't want whole pecans here. You could buy them in like smaller pieces, and they're probably cheaper. But anyway, this is what I had on hand. So I'm going to keep chopping these, and we'll put the turtle cupcake together. So here's my turtle cupcake. I am taking a chocolate cupcake, and I am going to work from the middle out. So I'll start in the middle here, piping this and then building it up. And then once I've got it built up, I am going to come in with my pecans, and I'm just pressing those kind of down. And then, and I like lots of pecans on these. I don't like to be skimpy with them. It's like not a garnish, but it's like a real ingredient of the cupcake. That's my philosophy with it. Okay, so what's cool about this, these 2 recipes together is they share some components, so they both have this ganache in them. So starting with this, I have my bag, and I have my ganache in here. Whoa, I forgot that I already cut the tip. Okay, the tip is cut. I'm going to start drizzling it, and there we go. So I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to drizzle my ganache across the top. Again, this is not really just a garnish. It's an ingredient, just like the pecan. So I do want to go a little bit heavier than maybe I would with a normal drizzle. And then I'm going to come in with my caramel. And this is the caramel I made from scratch. And you can also just use store-bought caramel sauce. That's what I've used when I've made it before. Okay, so apparently I'm a terrible YouTuber, but I forgot to actually record me making the caramel sauce. So I'm going to put the recipe link down in the description, but you can definitely just buy caramel sauce as well. But if you want to make the recipe, it'll be waiting for you there. And I could put it in a piping bag to make it a little more precise. I'm kind of just going for it and putting the caramel on the top there. And again, this has a very loaded look to it, which I love. It's like super yummy and decadent. And I'm going to add a few pecans on top. And there is the turtle cupcake. Okay, so I'm ready to make the peanut butter frosting for the Buckeye Cupcakes, and I have my peanut butter and I have softened butter in here, and I'm going to start with my paddle attachment, and I'm just going to beat that until it's smooth. I will let you know that this is half of the recipe that I usually make, so down in the description I'll put this. This will frost about 6 cupcakes. So just depending on how many cupcakes you want to do, you can go up from there. It's pretty simple numbers to increase, but anyway, that's that, so I'll beat it. Okay, so it's nice and smooth, so I'm going to come in with half of the powdered sugar that I'm going to be using in this recipe, and I'll add that to the bowl. Now I'm going to be alternating this with heavy cream, so I'll start with this, and then I'll come and add half of my heavy whipping cream, and then half of my powdered sugar, and then the other half of my whipping cream. So just alternating it so it never gets too runny or too thick, and it comes out really beautiful. Okay, so I made it through my first round of powdered sugar. I've scraped the bowl and stirred, and now I'm going to add half of my half of my heavy cream and beat that in, and then alternate again with more sugar and more cream. Here I am, and I'm done alternating, and I always just check the consistency. And it's okay right now, but you guys, when you go to pipe that, all of a sudden it feels so thick and it hurts your hands sometimes if it's too thick. So I'm actually just going to add a little more cream to lighten it up and whip that in, and then I think it should be the right consistency. So always kind of check that. If it's too thick, it's pretty hard to pipe. Okay, the consistency is perfect, and I'm going to transfer this over to a piping bag, and I'm actually going to be using a round tip for this one. You could even use a knife, which you'll see in a little bit. So here's my piping bag with my round tip in it, and I folded it down again about 4 or 5 inches, opened it up on top, and now I'm going to grab my peanut butter frosting and just filling the bag up, and I'll keep going till it's all transferred in there. Okay. Let's make a Buckeye cupcake. So you don't want these double lined when we go to dip them, so I'll take that off. And then here's my cupcake, and I'm going to start with my peanut butter frosting on it. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of building it up for a nice peanut butter punch there. And I'm actually going to take, you guys can see it's got a bit of a tip there, and I'm just going to push it down. This stuff is pretty stuck together there, so you can kind of push it down. And once I'm there, I'm going to dip this in my ganache, and if you notice that this is pretty soft or it starts melting in the ganache, then you can pop these all in the freezer just for 5-10 minutes and then dip them. Or if you notice it's kind of melting after you put it on, then pop them in the fridge or the freezer. We do actually want to do that so it sets quickly for our next step. So I'll just pull over my ganache. I'm going to dip this, and I'm just holding on to it like this and going down into the ganache and just making sure it all gets covered, pulling it out, and there is that Buckeye cupcake. So I'm going to pop it in the fridge, and then I'm going to show you how to finish it to make it look more like a Buckeye. You know, on a Buckeye, if you've seen one, I can put a picture of one right here. There's this little part that doesn't get dipped in the chocolate, and there's no way I could do that in the first round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to make a little nub of peanut butter frosting up top to make it look like an actual Buckeye. And I'll just pipe it out, and you guys, that's a super easy little Buckeye cupcake. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, hit subscribe. I have more cupcake videos coming, 2 more videos in the series, and at the last video in the series is to show you how to package them. So if you have missed any of those, head down into the description. I have a playlist for my cupcakes, and you can see it all there. I'll see you next time.